Hey everybody, welcome back if you're returning, welcome if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And this week I'm using the Heal Yourself reading cards. It's by, I think it's Inna Segal. Uh, I really enjoyed this deck and I haven't used it for the longest time. And this week it seems to be doing well for us. So we're going to get a topic for today. We have Inner Child. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. So, and again, it's really in line with what we've been talking about this week. But the inner child is, it's just that part of you that got so damaged as a child. And I feel like, honestly, like our journey here on the planet, we all get scarred in childhood. Um, it's how it's supposed to work. You know, it doesn't matter how great of a job our parents did. We were put in the family we were born into, that we grew up with, for a reason. And they had to damage us. Not on purpose. Not on purpose. And even, like in my situation, it wasn't my parents. It was just other scenarios in in my childhood experience. And they had their own beliefs and their own way of doing things that challenged who I was. And I wouldn't say that it was damaging so much as it just repressed parts of me that were meant to be expressed. Um, and so our childhood is where we get pretty much the lesson plan for what our adult healing is going to be. And we're going to make ridiculous choices out of our damage until we figure out what it was, how to heal it, and how to really do justice to that inner child. Because I was having a conversation just earlier today about this, ironically, where we come onto the planet, babies are just so pure. And we talked about higher powers yesterday, but in my belief system, that spirit, that soul, has just entered the planet. They've been wiped clean of anything from, it just, there's no damage yet. So when you hold a baby, and they have that just pure love, sweet, and granted, you can hold a baby and have a completely different experience depending on the type of day the baby is having. But on a good day, there's so much innocence there, so much purity, and it's just love, and they're so genuine. They don't know how not to be, you know. And as that child starts to grow up, their experiences shape who they believe they are, what they believe they're capable of, what's acceptable and not acceptable, what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do, and what you're supposed to believe and not supposed to believe. By the time that poor kid is 3, they're already so fucked up. We've already tainted them so badly, and we are just getting started, because then we're going to send them to school, and, dating, whatever. My God, by the time we're in our 20s, we're all basket cases. We just don't think we are, because we think we know everything, and, yeah. The whole journey, the older we get, I think the more, because we have more life experience to reflect back on, to see that, like, I didn't know anything. In the moments in my life where I thought I knew things, I look back now and that was my most clueless. But it was just operating off of the belief system from being a child. And because I'd surrounded myself by everyone who believed like me, well, yeah, of course I know everything. They think the same thing. We have to be right. So your inner child, and the reason I love inner child work is because it's play. Play, it's not only play. It's basically like we come up into adulthood, and as an adult, we have to raise ourselves again. Only this time, instead of putting limitations on a child, You're trying to free the child from the limitations put on you by your birth family, your childhood experiences, the baggage that you've picked up to this point, so that you can finally do that inner child justice by expressing your authentic self into the world. We all have gifts, talents, abilities, innate things that we were brought onto this planet to share with others. Wisdom we were meant to attain, knowledge we were meant to attain, things that just come easy for us that other people struggle with. And there's a reason for that. Now, what likely will happen as part of this life's journey in life school is that you will be told at a young age that no one will pay you for that and you shouldn't do it. Or that, that's fine for a hobby, but you can't make any money at that. Or that's frivolous. Quit wasting your time. Stop doodling. And I used to argue and get in trouble for it. It's like, what about Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield? I was like, he doodled. Look how it turned out for him. Or, you can't make a living staring out a windshield, or staring out a window, because my comeback is that for many years I made a living staring out a window. That's what I did. It's good living, too. And I wanted so bad to tell all my teachers that. But these experiences, as we are adults and we get into situations where we start to feel resistance about having to live a certain role, that's your inner child crying out like, no, this isn't me. This is not what I'm supposed to do. So when you find yourself in that job that pays well, but you absolutely hate it, you're not meant to be there. And that resistance is coming from the part of you that wants authentic expression, that need to be you at a soul level. And that's where inner child healing can be so much fun, because it's learning to get past what holds you back from expressing what you want to express, who you want to be, becoming completely comfortable with who you are, regardless of what other people expect of you, what they think you should be doing, could be doing, and you don't care anymore, because it becomes more important to you to feel good in your own authentic self, not have to wear masks, not have to feel like you have to reach certain standards. You stop comparing yourself to the people around you because it doesn't matter anymore. How do I feel about this? Is this true for me? Is this how I want to be treated? Do I want to spend my day like this? Because when you are solid in who you are, it is so much easier to set boundaries, because you don't need other people's approval. You don't need other people's input. You know from a gut level what's right or not right for you. And so with the inner child, one of the things that I tell people, one of the ways to get in touch with your inner child is find a photo of you as a child. And look for one that's just spunky, where you're just being you. Like you can look at the picture and you remember that moment and just how you felt, because we are taught, sometimes not like, no one comes out and tells you, like, dim your light, but calm down, sit still, use your indoor voice, be quiet, you can't wear that out, what will the neighbors say? To dampen our spirit, to soften ourselves, dim our light, to make the people around us comfortable. However, if you continue to do that, you will live your life uncomfortable. And I think most people reach a point where they're tired of that, but it comes out in other ways, because instead of actually healing the inner child, we try to drown it with alcohol, or satisfy it with Twinkies, or, put all of our effort into our outward appearance so that we can at least feel confident in that, when really your true value, true happiness is going to come from becoming whole within yourself and being able to not put the energy into a facade. Uh, I call it an avatar. When we live a life that is not true to ourselves, that is exhausting, it's unfulfilling, it will make us angry and resentful, it will cause us to have physical illness, financial difficulties, bad relationships, because we're not being true to ourselves. And the first thing you have to do is figure out who is that? Who am I? What is myself? Because we've been told who we are for years. You know, as soon as you pop out of your mom's womb, they stamp you with name, social security number, religion, race, well, you name it, right? Boy, girl, blonde, whatever. Immediately we start getting labeled. And it's a point of getting rid of those labels and creating your own that are really you, that are coming from inside of you, not outside of you. You're generating the labels now, not getting them generated and stuck on you. They come from you. What are your labels? What are the things that would describe you? If you look at that picture of yourself as a child, maybe you were told that you were too much, but now you could put that as ugly. You were too stubborn. Well, maybe I'm persistent, because these are actually good character traits. But as children, when you're raising a child, as a parent, the very good traits that you want to see in an adult can be aggravating as hell from a 5-year-old. My parents will absolutely verify that. I had no idea that at 5 I did not have the authority to tell people around me that they were wrong, especially adults. And so you make yourself smaller. You try to fit into the expectations, and you lose your truth in doing that. And healing the inner child is just about getting that truth back, and not only getting it back, not just getting it in your head, but living it out in your day-to-day. The choices you make, the clothes you wear, how you decorate your house, where you live, the people you surround yourself with, the foods you eat, the things you do for fun. And fun. As adults, we're almost looked down on for having fun. And life is too short. Too short. We have enough responsibilities. We have got to carve out time for fun. Because if not, life becomes mundane, painful, and we wonder, why am I here? Because at that point you don't want to be. You're like, I'm fucking tired of running on this goddamn hamster wheel. Will someone shut it off? Because we haven't found our joy. When we are living a life true to our purpose, true to our nature, to who we are, it doesn't feel like that anymore. But it takes time. It takes time to build the confidence. It takes time just to find out, who am I? And I go into a lot of detail in the book, the Get Your Shit Together book, and there's a link for it in the description box below. Because that is like the key element to living an authentic life where you realize your value. You don't accept shit from people because you don't have to. You know that I know who I am. I know my value. I don't have to take crap from you. I don't have to rescue you. I don't have to listen to you. I got this. But it's a process, and it starts with this inner child. So, cricket's on a roll today. Girl. And she's a heavy sleeper. Think about things that you enjoyed doing when you were a child. Think about the parts of you that you made small for approval. Dreams that you let go of because people told you that you shouldn't dream that. You have that dream for a reason. You have those traits for a reason. all of it plays together, and as you start to see the pieces come together, as you investigate this inner child, life starts to finally make sense, and it becomes more beautiful than a chore. You know what I mean? You look forward to the day because you know that you're living your life. Finally, it's your life. You're living it for you. And there are going to be so many people along the way that are a part of that journey that are meant to be there, your tribe, your family. Um, and it's going to completely change your perspective, your experience, and your view of life in general. And it starts with that inner child. So I hope that helps, and I will talk to you soon.